Oh, wait. Hold on.
Drink it. Drink it. Taylor, your grade went from A+ to like a B-.
Dude, it wasn't even my fault. It's just being dumb. Look, I was saying this. I'm gonna say it again though, so everybody else can hear. I don't ask for much, and apparently I still don't get much either.
Asking you shall receive. This episode is sponsored by the stickers in front of me. It's sponsored by the Little Fokker. It's sponsored by Whalecat. It's sponsored by the Float Life with this beautiful tack jacket. Dude, I forgot to tell you, I got a great idea for the commercial for this.
Okay.
So here's the setup, right? When we go to film for this.
Yeah.
Because they sent this, I told them, hey, I want to do a video for it. What I want to do is like have the pads in. We're gonna get some super sexy B-roll, and like we're gonna get to like the slow-mo coming up on the clips, do some really cool transitions, show off all the things on it, and then it's gonna be like, and then it's gonna go like straight cut to me just eating shit.
I think that's a great idea. And then you stand up and you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, right, perfect. You're like, I'm fine.
You know,
so cool.
You know,
if we could use AI to redo that shot of me the first time I was on my pint,
I have
used it like 90,000 times.
It's there.
I don't think it would work.
It would be awful though if you like landed on a part of you that wasn't actually covered by the tack jacket, and then we just see you just eat it, and you lay there, and I'm behind the camera. I'm like, Caleb.
Use tack safely.
Use tack safely.
Only you can prevent nosedives.
We do a blooper reel where you hit and you stay, and the next scene is like a funeral.
Man, it feels good to be back. I'm gonna mix up my other. So this is also sponsored by the Liquid Death and Gray Matter's Bright Mind. Bright Mind is this like nootropic supplement. You've tried it, right, Taylor? Yeah, you've had a little bit of it.
I drink so much.
It's really good. I enjoy it. As it's been since October since I drank, so it's been interesting finding like alcohol alternatives. Like
you're finding your other vice.
Yeah, I'm finding my other vice, caffeine, and as long as I don't go to like cocaine.
Opal, don't drink the sauce, and definitely not with chicken nuggets from McDonald's. Do yourself a favor. At least get chicken nuggets from like Wendy's or something. Like, come on.
What's wrong with McDonald's chicken nuggets?
There's nothing wrong with them, but like if you're gonna pair greatness with greatness, it might as well be like at least a second tier of chicken nugget.
I guess, yeah. Go find yourself a Chick-fil-A. Get those.
Go find yourself a Chick-fil-A. My pleasure.
All right, getting this mixed up. So there has been this has been a hell of a week for us here in the production studio, not being able to keep up. But I had texted you some stuff earlier that I've been paying attention. So all of a sudden, if anyone's not on Discord, we had a Discord channel for like Pushback. I suck at like fostering Discord communities or keeping that thing up. But there's a very alive and well community of vest builders. There's like the float wheel. I think it's the float wheel community that I saw on there. There's the one wheel one. Like there's all of these Discord ones. And so I went like deep down the rabbit hole now that I'm like trying to understand how to operate my little Fokker, how to start messing around with Vest Tool, all that stuff. And there is so much depth that I've like missed and like seeing what's happening.
Like I've scratched the very base level of tuning because I'm kind of scared to touch things I don't know about.
Yeah.
But like I'm just gonna make a quick backup and just mess with the board all day. But yeah, like.
But also like so, and I was just talking with Nico about this, and he's like, what did he say in his text messages? I showed my wife this, and she's like, "Oh, that makes sense." I was texting Nico about it, and he's like, Let me pull this up. He was talking about the IMU wizard is now fixed. So in our original video that we just started going, we tried to use the IMU wizard, and it's like Russian roulette.
It just didn't work.
Every one of our boards were different in the configuration that it came out with. It was pretty
I think
crazy.
he had to hand put in all the values to all of our boards. I don't think it worked 1 out of 3 times.
I think he did, but
Shout out Jake.
Yeah, right. But this was from Nico. So already quote unquote from Nico Aliman. He said, once it's actually set up properly, literally all you need to ever do is worry about the flow configuration tab, or even just use the flow control app, which was built by Surfdado. It's on iOS though. I don't think it's on Android. Kind of unfortunate for the Android people. But he also said, end of the day, the Vest Tool app needs to stay flexible because of how many different kinds of devices use, as long as you know what areas are safe to check out. And he said in here, it's easy to get overwhelmed, and the worst thing you can do, from Nico, the worst thing you could do with Vest is start poking around hitting buttons. I'm like, this is how I learn.
And that's your
I
thing.
start poking around and hitting buttons and see what happens. Like, that's what I'm like. So we have a special. We have a very special guest coming next Friday.
Oh, whoever could it be?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
You have no idea?
Who would be coming next Friday?
Does his name rhyme with
Rico Spaliman?
Eco Naliman?
I like Rico Spaliman.
Rico Spaliman? Rico Spaliman.
Yes, Nico Aliman is going to join us next week to have some Vest talk. We're going to talk through it and, try to really break this down and show people how easy it can be. I'm going to pull this up so I can make sure I can see the comments here as well. We got 5 people hanging out with us today. What's up, you 5? I don't know. Let's see if any of those people, if you are one of the 5 watching right now and you are at Stokebird, make me jealous. Say, hey, I'm at Stokebird, shredding across Miami, having a good time.
Is anybody from our crew at Stokebird?
Oh, yeah.
Who's over there?
Travis, Christian, I think Nick is. I think Popa.
Popa?
He was going to be going. He was going to be riding with Christian, but maybe he backed out.
So upset.
Yeah, like it's a pretty big deal. And of course, like Ori's down there. Jake's down there. Actually, I think pretty much all the Ohio
How did
crew's
we
down
not
there.
get invited?
You did. You could go if you wanted. But are you going to fly? Like, are you going to go to Miami? Like,
not with our workload.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not going. But the so Stokebird's going on right now in Florida. That's an event that Corey Bainey puts on, and it's free. Like, you just have to find your lodging. You go down there, but they ride the streets. I guess it's just a killer time. Totally different vibe of the event. Like, not anywhere near like what Shred Fest is or like Float Life Fest or any of those. It's just a bunch of group rides, basically. That's the whole thing, the whole time. Like, they do like some Easter egg hunts or something like that.
I saw the Oak City Easter egg hunt.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, bet.
Was that at Stokebird?
That is at Stokebird.
Okay, yeah. So they do like little things like that, but it's like all riding. That's what it is. So I'm jealous, of course, as I'm not. Next year, man, we're just gonna go on like the one-wheel tour if we can make this thing.
Dude, please, that'd be so great. I would like to spend more time out of the state than I would in the state next year. Let's do that. Real quick, Eric, not at Stokebird, but will be at Lemonade Float Fest and Dirt Surfers and FLF and Opal. Opal, you're going to have to teach me how to pronounce your last name sometime because it sounds dope.
Whoa.
LOL, still stuck in MD, but I will be at Oak City and maybe FLF. I'm glad that you're going to Oak City. I believe that we met last year. I think you're the I think I remember you. I'm pretty sure I remember you.
I don't remember anybody.
I
was running around quite a bit.
They came up to the merch. They came up to the merch tent.
Oh.
Yes.
Goku, you're listening while mowing some customers' yards. Hell yes.
Welcome to mowing some customers' yards.
Are you using your one wheel to mow? Like,
if I saw a video, I saw that video. That's the thing.
I was gonna say somebody submitted it.
Did you send? Oh, somebody submitted it.
I don't know.
I've
seen it somewhere.
Also, friends, it has been a week at work, so you're gonna notice that our page has been a little dry this week. It's okay. I've got some things to wet it. And then also, there's the podcast that actually just dropped today that you can listen to everywhere.
And we're talking for people who are following us on Instagram.
Yes.
So if you're not following us on Instagram, you know what? I know I mentioned this to you before, but all right, so there's a couple things. We know that we have some people on YouTube that follow us, some people on Instagram. If we're active the most anywhere, it's Instagram. But we also, I want to start repurposing like all of these community shout outs that we do. I want to start throwing them up on YouTube because I know there's a whole audience of people that see stuff on YouTube. That would be a really good way to shout out the community. I want to remember to do that. We could start using YouTube Shorts, right? I don't know how many of you people watch YouTube Shorts versus like Instagram Reels.
So you mean like when I'm shouting out like, "Hey Opal, what's up?" Turning that into a short? Is that what you're saying?
No, like all of our community, like our mashups, like just reposting those and putting them on YouTube.
Oh,
you know
I'm tracking. I'm tracking.
Because we have all this great content on Instagram.
Bro, we have. Dude, I
like
think,
we could just start at the beginning and like just go repost all the stuff, stuff that we've done.
Yeah, I think, and this is not going to sound like a lot to people, but like when you understand how much like space this actually is, I think we're close to like 2 gigs of actual. No, I'll say a gig and a half of like mashup videos.
Oh, and that's like crappy quality.
And that's like crappy quality, dude. We just man, we put out a lot.
We've got quite a few of them. Yeah, Opal said, "Yep, that was her." If we're going to Oak City, we can teach y'all how to pronounce her last name. We will be at Oak City.
We will be at Oak City, and just for funsies, give me 1 second. Sod Vipachaichi.
Sawadipachai. Botched.
I think I'm getting canceled for that.
Was that a curse word? No, I was trying to pronounce a last name.
It's one of the unforgivable spells in Harry Potter.
Oh.
we love you, Opal.
So I have a big topic that's been coming up, and I've gotten to the community now. We're starting to look around. We're probably going to be doing a collaboration with them here soon. And actually, in a couple weeks, the founder is coming on the show to talk about it. And it's this thing called Rewheel. Have you heard of Rewheel, Taylor?
I have heard of Rewheel, and I actually looked up Rewheel today to make sure that I could talk on the podcast about it.
Do you know what Rewheel is?
It's so I've seen it done on Pint and Pint X's, and then I think they were able to use it to unbrick a GT if you disconnect the battery. But to my knowledge, you use it and you can get custom shaping on a pint.
Mm-hmm.
You can adjust the pint's behavior to have XR pushback. And then you can like make backups of your pint software.
Yeah, so you make a backup because basically you're like flashing you're just taking the firmware off. So like you dump the firmware off, and I think in case anything happens, and you can reverse it and put it back. I could be totally wrong there. When I have niche on, but this community is they're kind of vibing. I was actually talking with somebody today about it who even with like if you've modded your pint and you put in the quart battery. There's a couple beta users right now where you can get like the accurate percentage without using an OE chip or the JW chip. So you can use the software to get a more accurate reading off of a quart battery. And like if you haven't watched, the Float Life put out a video actually using one of these rewheeled pints, just ripping. I mean, you get that small form factor of the pint, but you unlock it to make it feel like an XR. So it's basically a Pint X, but even further in, right?
Yeah.
So like I've seen people hitting 22, 23 miles an hour on pint, like just comfortably. That's stock.
That would be horrifying.
That's stock.
That's like scary, dude.
That's not like, but if it's like riding like an XR, I'm like, oh yeah, because I've hit 22, 23, 24 on my XR, like not even thinking about it.
But I mean like size-wise. Size-wise, that would be terrifying.
Maybe, but you only experienced a pint with pushback. You know what I mean?
This is true.
Like if you're unlocking its full capability and like coming in, it's crazy. But they're working on some other things, and potentially, I've talked with a couple of the people in there who are messing with the software of doing things like you can in your Vesk software, like making a posi sensor. Like pints have a huge problem with like not being able to engage properly because of the smaller foot pad size or whatever. I don't know exactly why it is, but potentially even later in the app being able just to posi it straight in.
Dude, speaking of them having issues like that, when I rode Ori's Pint X, I was immediately like, I'm not getting this because I couldn't get it to activate. I could not get
like
right. Maybe
we had,
once
like, the strips and stuff.
Yeah, it was before he got the strips, and I was like, I'm not getting this. I can't. It won't go.
Remember when you were riding my pint in Worcester and it ghosted off into traffic?
Oh my god. Okay, all right. We're just riding around filming stuff, and I'm on his pint. And what? had you modified it to that, or was there just a problem with the sensor?
I paused it.
Okay, see, but like
I paused it, but the problem was when I put it back in, there was I did it to an old sensor where the sensor side was sticking. So when I paused it, it just basically said, "Oh, sensor's on all the time."
Yeah, so I'm riding behind him trying to get some stuff, and I'm like, I hop off of it so I can like just get some ground stuff going. I don't even hear it take off. It just goes, and then I hear like what a one wheel sounds like when it jumps a curb. I heard that sound and I went, "Oh no!"
Tail dragging.
And I turned around and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Because there's a car coming down the road, and I'm like, "This is heavy enough that it could do actual damage to this car if it gets hit." And then I think it ended up like it hit the curb and then rolled on its side and like slid into the road. And I just remember you chasing it, and bringing it back.
Like, "Oh shoot, there it goes." That was an interesting time for sure. But so I love the pint form factor. I miss it sometimes actually. Like that's what. So right now, I think I told you a little bit about this. We're gonna build another vest. We're gonna document the whole process. And my original board, the one that still has the same like rail covers and everything, I called it Venom. So I had the custom Venom rails designed like Venom from why am I just blanking on this? It'd be the Marvel universe, right? Is that what Venom's at?
Is Venom Marvel or DC?
Well, it's not DC.
It's not DC.
I mean, it's with Spider-Man and everything.
I guess he would be Marvel.
Marvel
yes.
Universe. I guess it was a whole like Sony thing. That's for like the production.
Yeah.
Venom's owned by Sony Entertainment or whatever it is.
I think he. Anyway.
Anyways, it's a Venom board. And it's got like really cool Venom stuff. So I'm like, oh, I want to build a Carnage. Like I want to build the Let There Be Carnage Part 2 to this. So I got a set of tiny tail rails. And then I got the Badger Torque box, and now I've been researching a couple. There's like the community's making parts for vests now, and there was this open source controller they did a really small run for called the Elm controller.
Is that or do you mean the box?
Or yeah, the Elm box. Yep. Did I send you a picture of it?
Yeah, that thing's hot.
Isn't it sweet? And so they got rid of like the normal like 16-pin connectors, and like it's super waterproof. Like probably the sexiest box I've ever seen for like an internals piece. Like it looks so good. It's aluminum box. I'm sure that Tech Rails might have built one similar to it before. I know he has like the billet box, which is aluminum, but we're starting to build that, and I'm trying to talk with a couple people to see what kind of like mega battery we can put in this thing. I'm going to make this like the craziest little ripper. It's going to be basically like a pint because it's got the growler rails, the tiny tail rails with a pint tire on it, with the Superflux motor. So it's going to be that 2,000 watt motor. I mean, this thing is going to be like a tiny demon.
I see you're talking about that, and I just want a bigger battery that I can put more through it, and then it goes like 30 miles. That's what I want. I want that.
You want the range?
I want the range, but I also want the torque, which I can get with the vest, but I want it to like, am I thinking of volt is the right word I'm trying to say, right? Like I want like an 80 volt battery. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Probably. Yeah.
Where it can just like output like a shit ton of torque and then just go.
Well, so there's a couple different, it comes down to how many cells are packed into it, I think, is for the range. And the smaller or the bigger it is, like the 18s or whatever, you're going to get more torque from, but less range. Through the 20s, because you can fit more into it. I'm not a battery scientist. I really need to call Mario and get educated before I even like. Don't listen to me. I don't know shit about batteries. I'm just like, this is all hearsay, so don't take my word for it. But
okay, whoa, I don't mean to interrupt you. Unpopular opinion. The pint would have been better than the XR if it didn't have the crazy pushback. I actually agree. The only
form
reason
factor is beautiful.
The only reason that I hated the pint at the end of its like my life cycle with it is because I rode your. This is before we were going to Oak City for the first time. You were like, "Hey, go take the board that I now own and kill this battery so I can recharge all the way." I'm like, "Dope." Killed the battery. Rode all over town. Killed that battery. I hopped on my pint. I went to the college, which is like 2 miles away. 2 miles away. Hung out with somebody. Came back. And it was below 50%, and I was like, "Fuck this! I don't want this. Is stupid. I don't want this anymore."
Battery sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you mod it though and put like a quart battery in it, and then like you get that XR range out of it, that's great. Range is like, I think the XR kind of had the almost optimal. GT's definitely got optimal range. Like I don't worry about that in charge. I don't think I need a lot more than that, but I also don't ride like absolutely like crazy like some of these people do. So,
I want to be able to hit trails for like an hour or two and not have to worry about it. That's what I
that's
want.
GT battery,
Right,
That's
and
for sure.
So that's what I want. Like I want to put a battery in my Vesca, my Fokker over here.
Next
that
step,
can
we're
get me
building
there.
batteries,
Dude.
Taylor.
Let's do it.
Let's build the bomb.
Oh, hey,
yeah.
man. Switch up. I need from that sound pack. FBI, open up.
I want to go back to Goku's comment here. He said, I'm new to the podcast, and I don't know if you guys already talked about this, but I'm debating between Mustache or W's for my GT. What would you guys recommend? Mainly ride street and occasional trail. I cannot speak to either, but I've heard phenomenal things about the Mustache rails.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I ride straight rails. I've only ridden straight rails. I would try other things, but like nothing. There's nothing about the rails that like make me really want them.
Yeah, it just depends how fast you're trying to go. Like, so I kind of look at it in two ways for most people. Like, there's some people that literally will just buy them for the aesthetic. So you can just, because they have money, they want them on their board and stuff. They don't really, like, they kind of might be looking at some of the other things, but I've definitely seen a lot of people buy it just for aesthetic. Like, they'll literally put on WTFs for aesthetic, the look. I mean, it looks pretty sweet. The mustaches are awesome. And the W's, again, I cannot speak a whole lot about those. I've seen just from the people around me that I've seen had the GT, they claim great feedback on it. But I ride the straight rails on my GT because I don't like riding my GT. I'm personally a fan of the tails. I like straight rails. I like the stock feel, but the tail rails, it's really nice because you can just, if you really are like some steep incline, you just reverse the board and you have that little bit extra on the nose. You just ride backwards so you can get up without that nose dipping.
Except now, we don't need that. We don't. Just turn your ATR up.
Yeah. But it's still cool.
It is cool. It's definitely cool. Like you said, if you just want to mod your board because you like the look, that's rad. But I can't speak on anything else besides that. It just looks cool.
Yeah. Straight rails all the way. I'm pretty standard. I liked
mine are almost straight.
Yeah.
Mine
Oh, that's the opposite plane. So when we were taking Taylor's board apart, we realized that his rail is actually like bowed.
just like a little bit.
It's just
a little
enough
bit.
that it looks like somebody might have like got upset when they were taking their board apart and beat their child with it. I don't know.
Or, somebody who was 5 White Claws in maybe dipped it, hit some dirt really hard at Oak City last year. I don't know. That's just what I hear.
Ruining the sensor pad. I'm like, well, good thing you're buying
Hey,
this
I
thing.
paid for it twice. It's fine.
But yeah, so just do some reviews. Carve Creative, I would say, probably has really good. Well, I don't know if there'd be a biased opinion or not because I can't remember.
Just reach out to the community who has them and just be like, hey.
If Goku, if you're not in the Facebook groups already, there's like 80,000 Facebook. I was just telling Taylor this the other day. Like my entire Facebook feed is filled with like some of my investment groups I'm in, and then one wheel groups.
Did you add me to those chats?
Which ones?
I got added to like 3 Vesk chats overnight.
Yes, I did.
You didn't even warn me. You were just like,
No.
I just like woke up. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Just mute the notifications. You were asking me questions about something, and I'm like, all of these answers are in the hardware and software chat. So I just added you.
But then when I go to the hardware and software chat, they're asking like collegiate level questions, and I'm trying to figure out elementary school stuff. So I don't want to ask in there because I sound dumb.
No, go ahead. I asked really dumb questions in there.
I took a step out asking how you make tune cards, and I felt like, man, they're gonna hate me.
That's what the community is for. That's what the chats are for, to answer the opinions of people. Now, I think the chat system is very disorganized for people. Like it's great, it's like this live time support thing. But I'm hoping what we can bring when we come into the community and start building these custom boards and the Vesk scenario, the little Fokkers being put in. I'm hoping we can make some streamlined content, like some really popular level answers, easy to find things. PEV.dev is not bad. Like I've gone to the website a couple times now, to go through some of the forums. It's not bad. Kind of hard to navigate and find things and updates and whatnot, but it's not bad. Like you can navigate well. Some of the Discord chats are getting more organized. Like not bad to go through, but you're still a fucking rabbit hole. You're just going forever.
And if you're like me, who I have some some technical knowledge, but if you don't know even the questions to ask, you don't know how to solve the problem that you don't even know that you have. So it would be nice to, yes, have something that's maybe a little bit more plain English that's like finite.
Or we'll just keep on interviewing the really smart people and hope we figure it out.
I just want to bring the really smart people on board.
What do you mean?
Like, I would rather them be like affiliates and we're just making this thing together. But it's like information that is like, this is it. This is the thing. This is how you do this.
The industry standard.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of coming across. Like, Dado and Nico, like, all those guys are kind of like pioneering the system. That's why we're having Nico on to talk about it. And, like, we'll be the ones that dumb everything down for people.
That's what I
the
need.
dumber downers.
I was telling you, I'm like, Nico, like, I'll listen to what he's saying, and I'm like, it's the math thing, the math move again. Just and I'm like, I just want to make my board not make noise when I rock back and forth on it. Which luckily, I'm like making up crap right now. He actually was like, here you go, follow this, and it was like 2 seconds done.
Yeah, it's not bad. It literally becomes down to a thing of like you just have to dedicate yourself a little bit to it. Like, it's not you have to have a willingness to get into it. And if you have any level of like DIYist or hobbyist, like I was telling Taylor, I mean, I've been at this church for like hour and a half away, and I've been in like these 12 to 14 hour days, and I did in like 3 days what would take most people weeks upon weeks, some probably months of diagnostics and repairs of like their SDI runs, their NDI signals, their lighting, their DMX, and all this stuff. And like it all makes sense to me because I've been in this space so long. But we're noobs. We're freaking noobs to the one wheel world. And so there's a lot of things that translate different. But I remember I was messaging in the Vest chat with Nico. I'm like, dude, someone really needs to make these like shreddy terms. Like, I don't know what the fuck Mahoney and y'all and KP is. I'm like, I feel like I'm from Texas over here talking about some things and I don't get it.
I looked up, like, I tried to look up what, like, okay, because Mahoney KP sounds like someone's last name. So I was looking up, like, Mahoney KP value, trying to figure out if that was just some dude's last name because I was curious. I couldn't find anything. I don't know. I don't know where that term comes from. I think somebody was like, I know what we could call it. Like, I have no idea where it came from.
So this is perfect because even in the chat, like, some of the extras, when I said that, I was like, we need to use, like, shreddy terms to talk about this. They're like, no one knows what Mahoney is, but like we've all like once you know what it is, you know what it is like internally. So just hit the little question box on the on the Vest tool, and it'll tell you what Mahoney is.
I just want like pitch, roll, and yaw. Just give me that. Give me pitch. That's easy to comprehend. Pitch, roll, yaw. Just give me that, and we're good.
It would be really cool. And I was telling okay, so Nico literally says, "Don't worry, literally no one fully understands Mahoney KP."
Okay, Nico, where
I
does
feel like
that
I'm from
come
Texas. I feel like I'm from Texas. Ever heard y'all with the y'all and the Mahoney and the KP?
Nico, where does that come from? What is Mahoney KP?
What is it?
Is it a person that came up with like some kind of mathematical thing, or is it like somebody literally just made up that name?
Like, is this the type of cocaine that they were snorting? Or like, ooh, get that Mahoney.
It was that government cocaine. You just say like this for the rest of your life.
Let me chime back here to Goku. He says, okay, so the thing that I hate about my GT is that when I try to turn into a curve fast, I feel like I could fall at any moment. So my main thing is lowering my center of gravity without losing clearance. I'm going to actually ask Nico here because he's our Wikipedia of knowledge. Me personally, I would say probably, what tire, if you're running, what tire are you running? Nico said it came from the heavens. I was going to say, the tire sounds more like your issue than rails, but also like, I don't know how hard you're digging in, but I know this isn't a real thing yet of like vesking a GT because people don't really have a great solution to it yet. But I was telling my wife this yesterday, like I'm riding around on my Vesk and it's like, it's not even configured properly to like get the full resources out of it. I'm going around and like I get off and I hop on the GT and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I need it cleaned. It was crunchy. It was dirty. It felt like an old stale like box of cereal.
I was telling you this before we went on air, but I was riding my Vesk and then I was trying to like, I'm thinking of ways to like mimic some of the XR ride modes so people like when they're getting into it, we can give them these cards and they're like, okay, it feels familiar-ish. I think it was mostly her tire because she's got a stock Vega, but like I got on that thing and I was like, this feels awful.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how did I ride this? I don't know.
Yeah. So, Goku, I know you're working on the lawn, so I'll read it out here. So, Nico said, WTFs have a greater drop and will get you more of the stability you're looking for. It will ride nose down because of the angled nose, but that can be resolved with Rewheel now.
Yeah. They were, you can hook your GT up to Rewheel and you can raise the like, you can make it think in every ride mode that it's an elevated.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
So Nico says mustaches are kind of an in-between between straight rails and WTFs. They look pretty cool. They got a little squiggly thing. I don't really want to. I mean, I gave my wife my GT. Like, well, I bought her that. That was my replacement when I sold her the board you have. I'm never going back.
Dude, neither
I'm
am
a
I.
Mac user, and I don't like PCs. But this, like if we're going to call that the translation, because now I'm in a project and I know there's a lot of things behind it. I'm never going back.
But it's the project in itself right now. Once you get, even though we're just stock, like it's still better.
Wait. I might go back. Well, I can't not technically go back. But it's different because there's another product out on the market that is actually a product, not a project.
Oh yes, what is it?
And it is called Le Float Wheel.
The float wheel.
So, dude, if you haven't checked out what a float wheel is, the Float Wheel ADV, I believe, is its official name. If you go, they don't have like a Facebook page, but if you go to their YouTube page, there's like this is what has me curious about using YouTube more for us in Pushback Army. If you go to their YouTube page, you can scroll over to community, and it's just got regular posts and stuff. And so this dude has been posting like every couple days of the production updates. Like you can see everything he's doing. Like I'm looking at a post right now where he's talking about the BMS, how they're coating it. So if water gets in the box somehow, that like pretty much everything inside the box is waterproof as well. Like waterproof connectors, like, and so you have to go look through some of these. But I mean, like literally you go through their feed and there's just like, there's countless production updates of what's happening. And
I dig the transparency.
Very, extremely transparent. Now, I'm still going to give them shit for stealing designs from like everyone in the aftermarket marketplace, but very transparent in the things they're building, the creative way they're doing things. And I don't know, maybe he's doing this just because like I'm pretty sure they're going to sell the parts and whatnot. Yeah. I don't know if you'll be able to take those parts and put them into your own vest solution or not. Yeah. But there's some really cool updates from that. The more I see about this thing, and I'm not going to order one until I see like real-time feedback from somebody else. Can be the guinea pig. So the other people who have ordered it, I'm going to assume by Shredfest that there's going to be a couple people with float wheels.
Hopefully,
we can kind of look into this thing. But it seems like it's going to be a really cool board. Durability wise, I
kind of stopped following it after like the first and second time that we talked about it.
Well, I kind of did too, but they don't post on platforms I like constantly scroll. Like, I don't scroll YouTube. I go to YouTube and I search for things that I want.
Right.
He's been posting in the community, and so I realized like there's a shit ton of updates from them. Like you just scroll for like you can read all the stuff. So I'm gonna start following the project more closely to see what he's doing. The float wheel just seems like an extremely durable animal of a board. Like the way that they're building the thing is actually meant to be tank wise, not like Future Motion marketing that says it's a tank and then they're like, I don't know if you've seen some of this stuff, like in the One Wheel Riders groups, like they're claiming like water damage on a bunch of people's boards, and people are having to pay anywhere from $600 to $800 for repairs because it's out of warranty, because it's void. And some people are saying like, because they're proof that it's water damage is like corrosion around the plugs that are insert. But like there's more things that might not even be water, that might just be cheap plugs that are giving that corrosion and whatnot. I'm like, this is bullshit,
dude. Again,
don't even offer a warranty. Don't offer a warranty.
Well, I mean, we've gone over this. The thing, like some of the things they do in their commercial for the GT voids the warranty on the GT.
Poor marketing choices, and I think, I think Future Motion is finally like feeling the sting of like the community finally be like, fuck it, like we're just gonna do this thing.
Okay, this is very I don't think vindictive is the right word, very aggressive of me, but I kind of hope now that like Vesk is I'm going to say if you have it configured right, it absolutely surpasses FM's software.
Well, it does, and I think it's gonna force them to innovate, which I think we're gonna get a great new product from Future Motion.
Yeah.
But on the same token, there's now a lot of people that are like, eventually, when your shitty cousin like has done enough shitty things to you, you finally like to start just to draw the line in the sand.
Yeah. And sorry, back to what I was gonna say. I hope that Kyle wakes up and is sweating sometimes. I just hope he wakes up with just sweats and just dreams of the Vesk app. That's like
Maybe
because I want innovation too. I don't want Future Motion to go away. I talk shit because they're not doing the right thing right now.
You know who just did go away? Or at least it's
Can we
speculated.
talk about this?
I mean, it's speculated. No one knows for sure what
Okay.
happened, but if
Okay.
you go look right now, so if we look at this whole thing that happened, Future Motion lawsuit, JW Batteries lawsuit, if you go currently to JW's website, like everything's out of stock. You can't buy shit. Like, and like their Facebook page is like gone. Like you can't find it. Like all signs point to Lauderdale. Like I don't know. You can assume some things. You can not assume some things. There's just like no word on what's happening here, unless somebody else has some insight or some word that I don't know about. JW Batteries seems to be out of the market. I don't know if Future Motion's freaking legal shit that I mean, we're talking like the class action lawsuits are like these level lawsuits that people, whatever that level is, like that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in court fees that they're going through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could have taken them out.
So okay, I need a little bit of a reminder. What were they being sued over?
So I think it was the chip that they had, and also some of this is their bad, like their whole, like fuck Future Motion mentality that went in it. They did directly take, like they took the XR logo and they put JW before, like they kind of like mashed up, like spoofed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking to anybody who likes to spoof logos, I mean, you're literally looking at one right now that we spoof things.
Right.
I don't really sell these for profit or anything. We just make them for fun. Like, but they would like blast out those stickers. They would sell them. So that was one of the claims to Future Motion, that the copyright infringement, blah blah blah, and then the damages come down to whatever that chip was that it was circumventing their processes. I can't remember. It was a long paper. But like we didn't see anything happen for months, and like it looked like the case got dropped, but now we're not seeing anything happen. And like I've heard multiple stories from people over the past few months that have ordered products from them and like just not gotten the service it was supposed to be, that like there was shit going on, that like with the owner and whatnot, and now you're just not seeing anything. So
I just want to know more about what was going on in that lawsuit, because like the logo thing, I get that's like that seems very cut and clear, but like the chip, like if I buy a MacBook and part it and make a Frankenstein, Apple can't sue me for that.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Nico said literally called the JW FFM chip,
which again, I don't think you can sue somebody over that.
Well, I mean, you can have claims against it if there's things that are close, because again, they're building a battery that is. Their claim comes down to it that people would think it was a Future Motion chip, right? Like, or a Future Motion product. And so you're putting the battery in. If it starts exploding, that could be, I mean, OneMail's got a crap ton of lawsuits against them.
Right. So, right.
Like, there's that portion, but I think a lot of it had to come down with, like, what the chip did or whatever with it. Like, because it was violating their IP, because they own their IP to the board and whatnot.
But I have no legal expertise whatsoever. I just don't know if that's like
it was enough. It was enough to be an actual legal battle.
I just don't know what it was, because again, like let's say I don't know. I don't even know how to explain this. If I mod this Rodecaster to do something different, Rode can't sue me for doing that.
Well, they can if you're violating their IP, if they had IP, because it's trademarked.
But I'm not selling it. I'm modifying my own thing.
That's what I'm saying. JW's selling it, though. They're selling modification.
True.
Like, they're selling that circumvention tool, right? They're putting it at mass production for people to put this thing in and get past Future Motion's, BMS solution, all the bullshit that they locked down. But anyways, I can't remember because it was like 6 months ago. You can go find the papers and read through it. I read the entire legal case back in like June, July, but doesn't look like it's a good situation, right? No. So now, if there's anyone out in the marketplace here that knows how to build batteries, hit us up because there are a lot of people now who are looking for battery solutions. Now, we've got some great people out there starting to do stuff. Mario Contino, he's building some batteries. I know it's very small batch runs. Z Battery Solutions, which also just came out with the ZBMS. They're building batteries. Like, it's very, very affordable, too, I would say. Like, the ZBMS is like $80, and you can either get 18S battery or a 20S battery from him for like $550.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, you're talking basically a CBXR level. And then you have Chai still. Chai is still building batteries. They're kind of like the biggest person in the industry, I guess, building batteries. But I don't know.
Steesley, Chai batteries still
exists. That is very correct. The JW, on the other hand, I don't know.
Indeed.
I honestly don't know. But hopefully for the best of them.
Yes.
Chai batteries still exist. Pronounced Chai. Yes, isn't that how I pronounce it? Or unless you're just clarifying
I've heard
for the
people
comments.
I've heard people say Chi.
Well, yeah.
I always thought it was Chai.
I think I've heard them on their page say Chai, but maybe I'm wrong.
Chai.
But isn't that what it is? Pronounce it Chai?
Yeah.
Chai?
I don't think we pronounced it Chi. I think we've been pronouncing it Chai. Chi.
Chi li? Si?
Oh my God.
I better not go too far.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I love being uncanceled. Don't do that. Oh God.
So that's kind of that's the one wheel news for the week, right? If you've got a pint, there's new life in. I mean, I haven't touched my pint. I was messaging some people talking about the potential of like Posi, potentially about I might beta test with doing some stuff to mod I'm gonna do the rewheel, but I might try to do the thing that I forget his name. In the Discord server, there's one of the guys who's looking for beta testers, so I can actually read the accurate percentage of I have a quart battery in it. So no longer when I get to 0%, do I have like, oh, is it actually at 0%? Now, granted, I don't use I haven't used my pint in over a year. Like, it just kind of sits. But my son loves it. And my son shreds and gets across, but he's like getting to that point where he's hitting pushback as well, too.
Yo, real quick, if I didn't like fully respect Nico, I would think he's pulling my leg right now.
Shy batteries. And Nico still says chai. Chai. Man, fuck the English language. I'm just saying. So dumb. Steesley says that Chai has GT battery prototypes out in the world,
Chai.
too. Fuck Chai. I'm calling it Chai. It's Chai forever. It's a chai latte.
Forever?
I'm going to put a chai latte in my XR.
Oh, okay. You do that.
Basically.
I wonder how that works out.
I don't know. Probably won't work out.
So Chai battery has a GT prototypes.
That's kind of cool.
God, what are they going to do? 64
no, that's
miles?
right. Well, I don't know if they have. Maybe they have a prototype. I do remember seeing a video from Shy where they were. Damn it! Now I'm calling them Shy.
Now it's stuck in there.
I do remember seeing them. I think they swapped the battery, but they were keeping it live. And I think this was before Rewheel, that they were doing a battery swap on it, they gave it constant power, so the board never shut off while they were doing it. I'm like, that seems a little sus. I don't know if I'd want to fuck with the battery while it had like voltage going through. I remind like right now, my car blew up. This is totally off the cuff. I had a spark plug go bad, but the spark plug actually like blew up in my engine, so it's been a way bigger task where I'm probably gonna have to either drop a new engine in it or I mean, I might just pull the head off and see if looks like maybe one of the piston rods might be bent. It's starting to clank around like the crankshaft because I think a piece broke off from the bottom of the spark plug into the engine. Usually you don't want pieces of things in your engine. But anyways, I just remember calling my cousin or my brother-in-law who's a mechanic, talking to him about all these pieces, and he told me something when he's like, oh, you just want to turn the engine over like while you're doing it. I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, do I really want to turn the engine over while a spark plug hole is open and out? I'm like, that doesn't seem safe. He's like, no, don't do that. He's like, manually turn the engine over so you can get the airflow through, so you can put a compressor in the air intake and blow the parts out while you drill it. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's how I would feel about messing with voltage and battery. Like, let's keep this fucker live while we're pulling it apart. Like that reel you made, and then you see like a freaking jet engine blowing up onto the one wheel. That's sketchy.
Dude, this just goes to like reiterate what I always tell Jen. I'm like, if Caleb starts getting sketched out about something, that's like the stewardess. That's like the stewardess on the airplane getting sketched out. Then you know it's kind of sketchy. But if you look at Caleb and he's just like, whatever, it's probably fine. It's probably fine.
If I'm starting to get worried, then you should probably be worried. That's what Taylor's saying. What did you say? I was like the second most chill person you've ever met in your life?
You are actually now the first.
Oh, okay.
Most chill.
Did the other die, or?
In a sense.
Okay. All right. So I heard the Proto doesn't increase range much. The GT didn't have extra space to work with, so shy. Just used better cells. Early reports are saying 7 to 12% range increase. I mean, I could probably use that because right now I'm pretty sure I got a shit battery from Future Motion. Not that I'm going to even try to send that back to them. But I Captain Morgan's on me around 10, so something's not balancing right on the cells.
It'd be like, oh, there's a chip in the rail.
Well,
warranty void.
Like, I don't, problem is I can't read the cell voltages, so I have no fucking idea how to balance my battery.
Again,
I've tried to let it sit on the charger for 4 days and, like, see if it worked. It's still Captain Morgan's on me around 10%.
Again, you're going to make me open this fucking argument back up.
So
there is no loss to their IP for letting us check the individual cells. None. There's none. There's none.
Annoying. Absolutely annoying. It's very annoying.
This is the hill I am actually willing to die on. This one right here of checking individual cell voltages. There's no reason that we can't.
I'm pretty sure it's safer actually if you just allow us to do that, because then I can at least be like, hey, your battery's fucked, and I can tell you because I'm looking at the app that says this cell is fucked.
Yeah, cell 13's about to overcharge and explode my house.
Right. Gabriel, I want to go back to this. There's a beta tester video that says it is a replacement battery with a slight 5% capacity increase. All right, so slight increase, cool. And then it says that you need to use NRF to connect to repair the battery in BMS.
Yes.
And that is with...
So NRF is another app that you use.
That's similar to Rewheel, isn't it?
I think you use NRF to connect to Rewheel.
I gotcha.
I think I just started getting into that video when you came down the stairs.
And I don't know, maybe Nico, you can confirm to this. Is NRF and ST-Link similar? Because I remember them I remember when I was talking with the other person in the Discord for Rewheel, when we were talking about, hey, it's kind of in beta. You might need to get an ST-Link to solder to the back of your controller.
I think ST-Link is what they were talking about when they thought that my IMU was just like, not my IMU, when they thought I like corrupted the software so much I was going to have to hook it straight into a computer. I think that's like an actual, like a physical cable.
Yeah, so the ST-Link is like a device that you go through that you can put on, and then you have to like physically solder it to a couple points. For the Pint, what he was talking about is like if you completely brick your firmware out, you're going to have to get an ST-Link and go back through and do this stuff. But anyway, Nico says, yeah, CBGT is same pack config, just higher capacity cell. So minor increase, less of an upgrade, more of a replacement if your current battery is going bad, probably. Well, Shy, I might get a hold of you. I don't know. I'm not even using my GT. I like my freaking Vesk board now. My Fokker.
The only thing I want to do is just put a bigger battery in that thing and put a BMS, and then like I'm done. I'm good. I'll be happy.
Yeah, happy, simple man.
I'm a very simple man. I would like to shred farther and have more torque and not be afraid that my battery is going to blow up if I, overload a cell.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Taylor's not a crazy shredder though.
No, but I would like to just go to Travis's trails and just go for 2 hours.
There are different things though on the Fokker that are just I'm now Nico, maybe you can speak to this some. Now that I got a Fokker in and it's not even configured right, as per our text conversation, I can do 180s easier now. With fins on the board, jumping my board in the air, I can land 180s easier.
Well, I think it's because it wants to stay up more. I think it's just
I don't know.
Because when I and this is something I can actually turn down, I think. Oh, I know I can, but I don't know how. Nico, help me out here. When you go to slow down, It's aggressive. It is an aggressive slowdown. And I'm sure that might be part of it on my board because the board's like, okay, I want to stay up more.
Maybe because I always thought it had something to do with like the gyrometer or whatever it is. Because when you spin that board like that, you kind of press down on the back, so it's like confused on the nose or tail being up. Like when you go around, it wants to go and tail drag out. I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Nico says, honestly, if you don't need crazy speed, CBXR could be the move for high range vet. Yeah, because I don't see myself going 30 miles an hour.
So Nico, would the CBXR be similar to like a 20S pack from ZBMS? That would be my intrigue. Even the 18S2B 21.7 pack is still slightly less range than a CBXR. So is it the 18S pack or the 20S pack that has more range? I always forget. All these S's and P's and, man, I fucking hate all this terminology.
Well, like okay, if I think about this from drone terminology, like a one cell pack versus a 6 cell pack. The 6 cell on a lighter drone will go longer than a 1 cell. So I'm wondering if it's the same here.
Is this like gauges?
Gauges?
So like I feel like when I've seen these batteries, like 18s versus 20s are smaller. So is that like the size of the battery? Even though the number goes up, technically it's smaller. Like if you go to an 18 gauge, 16 gauge is bigger, 14 gauge is bigger, 12 gauge is bigger. Like the lower you go, the bigger it gets.
So to my knowledge,
like an 18S battery is bigger than a 20S battery.
So yes, you can get single cell batteries that are huge, but like when you're talking about, and again, this is me coming from drone world, when you have like a 6S battery, it's because there are 6 individual cells that you are looking at. The cells themselves are smaller, but they're combined into one pack.
Well, that would make sense then an 18S because you can fit less. You can fit 20 in versus 18 in, which would make it be a bigger battery.
Correct. Nico,
here's
the thing, Vest doesn't do anything special to keep the nose up in turns. Well, there is turn tail, but even without that, it's so much better than XR. FM specifically makes their boards dip the nose when you turn for some ungodly reason.
So that explains why I could not land 180s smoothly on, like I go to do a 180 on the GT and I'm like, well, that's not happening. Like scrape it out. But now on my Fokker, I can whip some 180s.
Turn tilt is the way. I have mine set up. Mine's kind of well, I shouldn't say it's only at 15. The default's 10, but I think it's kind of aggressive. But oh my god.
For everyone that's tuning in and listening, if you were expecting all One Wheel Chat, it is One Wheel Chat, but we are all very excited about open source boards. We are very excited about Fokkers and Makers PV and community parts and stuff. Now, I was telling Taylor about this. I don't know what it's going to look like for us, but I think it would be really fun for us to design a controller box that can fit more shit in it. I think it would be fun. Like, so there's like the Elm pack. They designed a different pack to have controllers into it. Now that you have this, like the Superflux battery, like you could technically configure things without having like the crappy like car 16-pin connector and all that. Like make cleaner cable runs, making sure the boards are more waterproof, more durable. Like so many options now for us to start thinking like in the terms of like building a PC. You go to online, you can do a PC builder and whatnot. Yeah. We should start developing some online board builders.
Be kinda dope.
That'd be the sweet thing. Chris Champion says battery bank is more less.
I think that's to say battery bank is more equals less resistance, which that would kind of make sense. That does make sense. I think.
I don't know.
I'm talking out of my ass here.
I always talk out my ass, and I only.
Is that why it smells so much down here?
Now, if you ask me a question about audio, I can help you out.
Yes,
I've been doing that for a while. But
true that.
If you ask me about this stuff, this is like a whole new language. I feel like I'm Wang what's up with that?
I have muted him. He has lost microphone privileges. You guys couldn't see it, but he started doing that, and I looked at him and I just mouthed the word "stop," and he did not. So now the producer has taken his right to speak away. He has. I'll mute myself too. But now I have audio. Listen, you've been grounded. Are you gonna be good now? Hey, do that again. What, are you gonna be good now? He's not gonna be good. So he doesn't get his audio back. You're gonna get us canceled. I'm giving you your audio back. Don't do dumb things.
It's not dumb. It's smart. You keep that hand off that fader. I told you I wouldn't fire you from that. Taylor, you're fired.
I can't be fired. Man. I'm a contractor.
So we're looking for a new producer for the Pushback Army. Please email pushbackarmy@gmail.com.
No, you know what? Please email Caleb at
soundfall.co.
Oh, God, you just did it.
Please email me. You can
wow.
send it. I monitor pushbackarmy@gmail.com. Email Caleb at soundfall.co if you are a editor or now this is actually genuine.
No, don't do it.
This is a genuine thing, and I'm not getting rid of Taylor. I promise. For now.
Oh no. New fear unlocked.
So we are actually looking to add some people to the team here, potentially to help out with some pushback projects. So if you are into video editing, if you're into technology, if you're into Vesks, if you're into cool one-wheel people, shoot us a message. Let's start having some conversations about maybe how you can help us out. We've got Nick Popa has been phenomenal, absolutely incredible. He's been a huge addition to our team. Float Wizard, man, he's got the magician side of him, and he's absolutely crushing it, helping us get some things done.
Bro, I was talking to Nick the other day because I was like, hey, dude, sorry, like, I know content's been dry for the channel and blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I'm on a work trip. I'm like, you have to tell me what a work trip looks like for a magician. And dude, it's cool.
Yeah?
It's the coolest
That's
thing
dope.
ever.
Is it kind of like my work trip where I was like in an island, or is he like just...
He's not on an island, but he's still doing cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We need work trips for pushback. That's the goal. You know, come in and be like, going on a work trip, and you're just in a one-wheel event.
It's just all one-wheel events.
Chris Champion said, anyone know what happened to JW Battery? No, we were literally just talking about this 15 minutes ago. We're kind of all up in the air like, doo-doo-doo-doo. We have no idea what happened to them.
There's speculation.
There is speculation, and I have fingers crossed that we'll have some new battery builders out in the market soon. Yeah,
Look
so
at Nico.
Nico's got us in the back right there. Nico Aleman rewatch earlier in the stream. I think that pretty much concludes what I have. If you guys are on Discord, you can always join our Discord. We do have one. I think it's usually in the descriptions on these. I can't remember. But we have a pushback Discord. It's very dead. I'm not great at like keeping that community fostered. There's also not a lot to talk about. Like we just kind of talk on the show. That's our thing. We want to talk on the show. We want to bring content to the people. But there are so many of these like one-wheel Discord communities. So if you want to start seeing what the mod community is, just ask me. I'll add you to like 47 chats and overwhelm you.
Without your knowledge, you're just gonna wake up to.
You're gonna
chats.
wake up to all these different chats.
You're like. It's like 8 in the morning. Like, what the fuck?
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, that's not my alarm. Yeah. That's my messages going off from the Vest community.
Oh my good Lord, it's insane. All right, am I hitting the buttons?
Hit the buttons. Everyone have a great weekend. Float, as Taylor would say, float safe. I'd say float extreme and dangerous.
Actually, you'll be proud of me. If you look in the show notes of the last podcast,
you said drink the sauce?
No, it says float dangerously.
Oh, it says float dangerously.
But then in parentheses it says, but like wear a helmet. Okay, thanks.
You probably should wear a helmet.
You probably should wear a helmet.
Pads are accepted in this community. One-wheel helmets are accepted in this community. If you think you look like a dork with a skateboard helmet, go get a freaking full-face helmet. Those are badass.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I start doing curb nudges and I say float dangerously.
Float dangerously. Yeah.
Opal, why would you curse us with this? It's 35 degrees outside right now.
Oh,
that's rude.
I wish I could stay warm up here, but I cannot stay warm. It was yesterday. It was like 65 degrees, and then in 12 hours, I go outside. It's windy and fucking blowing everywhere, and like 30 degrees.
Yeah, dude. I went to the pump track. It's too wet. I was sad, but it would have been so nice if it wasn't because I wanted to just shred.
It's wet. I'm just breathing in all that East Palestine air and dying. Don't
drink the water.
So if you don't know about us here in Ohio in 4 to 6 weeks, it's because we all died because there was like a chemical explosion in East Palestine, and we breathed the rain and the air in, and we're all dead. So, conspiracies.
And on that note, fade to black.